Number one, this is what I tell everybody. Not creating a budget for technology is a mistake nowadays, right? I mean, it's almost an ethics obligation that we must be well versed in technology. And if you don't plan for that, and if you, I like to say, have a line item in your budget for technology, because yes, it's going to cost you some money. It doesn't have to be a lot. It's not going to be a fortune. Most of these apps do charge monthly. Sometimes you can get a better deal if you pick the yearly plan. But beware, make sure you really like it before you commit to the yearly plan. So I always say, by not having this in advance on your plans, you could be, feeling like, oh, I can't afford that. Another 50 a month, another 30 a month. Yeah, it all adds up. But think of this time you're going to save and, be way more streamlined. So that's big.
While you're talking about that, I opened up my budget item for my monthly bills for the office and stuff. And mostly they're not usually even $50 a month. Like it's just a bunch of $20, $15 ones. Like I have HelloSign for signature as $20. I have Zoom, $16.34. Vimeo, Grammarly, they're all like 10, $20. So Loom, $10. So, and it'd be even cheaper if I got the annual plans, which I should do because I'll pay for every month for like a year. I'm going to be using this. I might as well do the transfer.
Exactly. Yeah. I love it. I love when I can pay for an annual plan in advance and I might save like 20% or something. And if it's something I know I love and I'm definitely going to use, I don't mind doing that. So definitely that's a mistake I see a lot of people make. Number two, just settling for apps that don't work. Okay. So we've all been there, right? We've working on let's just pick on immigration form software, right? You're populating all of the forms and something isn't auto populating properly. So what do? Like you could just tear your hair out, right? You could just give up. And that's what some people do. They just either they settle for something not working well because they don't report it to the company, or they just give up and say this isn't working. So what I recommend is report the bugs to the software company. They want to know. I mean, software providers will tell you, thank you for letting us know. We're going to try to fix that and keep after them. Some are better than others with responding to your feedback or, fixing things, right? But you've got to report them. Don't just settle. And make sure your staff know that too, because sometimes staff will just skirt around it, right? They'll, oh yeah, this isn't working really right. Well, I have a fix for that. I'm going to just do it a different way. It may take them longer. Maybe they're duplicating their entries now when it should be automated. So please report to the companies, right?
They are responsive. They want to know this stuff. Some stuff I bet is technologically difficult for them to fix up, but I mean, probably going to be a chunk of them that they could fix up. No one ever just told them. And it's that weird thing in life, like, there could be a problem where everyone has that issue, but really human beings don't speak out. So it's like everyone has the same issue, but no one says anything. It's always like random person will bring it up.
Right. And I will report everything. Like, and you make it easy too, right? So either tell your staff to send you a quick email with what's wrong if you want to be in charge of the reporting, or tell them how to submit a support ticket. What's the email? Like, I know you use DocketWise too, but I know their email off by heart, team@docketwise.com. Like I'm constantly emailing them. Here's what's not working. Can you fix this? Whatever. And that kind of leads me to point number 3, which is a mistake you don't want to make is giving up on apps that frustrate you, right? So if you're not going to report and your staff are not going to report and you're just going to keep having problems, maybe you don't really know how to use the software. So that kind of takes me to number 4, which is you have to fully explore what you have, right? You have to learn how to use it. So many times in my coaching sessions, I know that lawyers are maybe they're using Clio, maybe they're only using a fraction of what Clio can do. So they don't understand or know that Clio also has great templates for Word that you can put in your custom fields and auto-populate your client's name and alien number or address. We use them for USCIS cover sheets and stuff like that. So make sure you really find out how to fully explore the apps that you're using.
You know, like for DocuWise, it was a couple months ago where I'm like, there's got to be more here because there's all these pages I never visited. So I just went one by one, started clicking on all the links. And I was like, oh, I could change this. I didn't realize I could change that up. And doing stuff manually, which was like, you could just press it once and it would have been good. Yeah, just do the bite the bullet and click on every button so you get the hang of it
Right,
and
right.
master the software better.
Right. Some of them are more intuitive than others, but I also suggest that you look for the help articles or the help videos. It's great when you can do a search. Usually, every company, every app has a little help button somewhere, right? And
Yeah.
click on that. Usually, you can do a search for what you're looking for. But if you don't find it, don't let that stop you. Then you need to send a specific email to the company saying, I don't know how to do this. Can you please direct me to where? Or even ask for a one on one training session. You'd be surprised. They are often very willing to, book that with you, even if you're not only on their trial period, right? They will do a one on one session with you if you ask. Hopefully, they will. And sometimes that's all you need. You just need
Yeah.
some hand holding and some guidance on how to use some of the features, and then it clicks.
You know, they almost always want you to do that. They have staff for that because it's much easier for them to maintain a client than to find a new client or customer. So it's like whatever they got to do to keep you, it's just repetitive of money coming in for them.
Exactly, exactly. And then number five is another mistake people make: staying with apps that you truly hate for fear of migrating your data, right? How many times have we heard people say, I hate the system I'm using? And unfortunately, I hear it a lot from employment based immigration attorneys. Sometimes they're in bigger firms where they don't really have the control, anyways, to change their app. If your boss is using something and they've used it for 10 years and you hate it, you may not be able to convince them to change. And I think a lot of times the fear is migrating the data, right? Like everybody is definitely afraid of losing data or not being able to get everything transferred over. And I know it's a legitimate fear, right? I mean,
You know,
I
it's
don't know.
interesting. Some of the bigger firms that deal with really large clients, they specify which immigration software they want the company to use. Now, I want to name names. They're the big ones in the industry. But it's surprising that the company would get involved, or maybe they're just used to using the portals for it. So it makes them more inclined to just stick with, and that really pigeonholes you. It kind of locks it in your hands. You can't change it. I had firms tell me they have one software they use just for one big client, but everyone else uses a different one because they despise that one software so much. But they have to do double just because of that one client that's so big. So it's interesting. A lot of things in life, don't stick in a relationship that's not working out for you, of any kind. So it's the personal and business.
Right. But find out if you are really frustrated and you realize that this program or this app just isn't working and you do want to consider migrating your data to another app. Do a bit of research, ask some of your colleagues, definitely ask on the group that I have on Facebook, Technology for Immigration Practitioners, or TIP, because we do a lot of discussions on there about what people like and what people don't like, and what is the experience of somebody who maybe has migrated from one program to another, right? Find out and talk to them if you can, because it's easier to do this when you don't have that many clients. So like when I was just starting out my firm, I was able to experiment with a lot of different programs because it wasn't so hard for me to move, 30, 40, 50 maybe clients. But if you start having hundreds, then you're going to kind of get a little concerned. And realize too that some things won't transfer over. Like when I migrated, I think from Clio to Practice Panther, the invoicing didn't transfer over. All my notes did, all my matters, all my, history, which did, but certain things won't. So you're going to have to think about that. And how are you going to handle that if you're going to have to recreate, some of this history, or maybe you can export it. Again, do your homework and talk to others who've done it.
You probably scared off everyone who was about to do it with that. Just the idea, just learning more stuff. And more often than not, I put off stuff that I'm gonna do, think it's gonna be a long time. Then it's like 3 minutes. I'm like, in my mind, it was like it's gonna take like 10 hours to do, and it was like much easier than I thought. So
Yeah.
it's just a mental barrier mostly at that.
Yeah.
How hard it's gonna be. Usually, it's not that hard.
Yeah, but it can be really rewarding if you do find something that works better, right? And
Mm.
definitely try out the new program before you commit. I
Yeah,
always say to people, go for the 30-day free trial. Ask for more time if
yeah,
you don't get enough, and fully test it out. Actually test it out by making yourself be a client. That's what I do. I pretend I'm a client and I use my other email, my personal email, and I see, okay, this is what it looks like when I'm asked to log into the client portal. Oh, okay, this is what it looks like when I'm sending a request to upload my documents, like really test it out so you can see from the client side what it looks like and how easy or maybe not easy it is to use.
and that's the most important thing, the client side aspect, because a lot of times we just see our internal thing, we just send it out, but really testing it out continuously, consistently to get a feel for it. Because even stuff like the copy, the wording of how you send it to clients, the site might have a fixed one they put out there. You should always adjust it to what represents your clientele best, that you to your clientele, or it's easier to understand for the clientele that you have. Because the auto stuff isn't always the cleanest language. It's always better to adjust it.
Right, right. And check out in advance how much is truly customizable in these
Yeah, yeah,
programs, right? And that's my
that's true.
big issue, and which is why I kind of created my own practice management system using Monday.com, because I was just finding that the Clios and the Practice Panthers, they just didn't allow me to customize the case stages that I wanted to see. So maybe you're okay with that, and maybe there's other ways around it, but just really explore it fully and try to get a good feel for what you're getting into.
Good point. So
Um,
number six, pay for
Number
apps you don't use. Yeah.
Yeah,
Number
exactly. Pay for apps that you don't use or that overlap with others. So there's a lot of new features being added all the time to the apps that we're using. And sometimes they may be good, sometimes they may not be. But what I recommend is that you do a little audit of what you've got. So it's as simple as just creating a chart, listing the app. I like to list the cost as well so that I can add up the total cost of everything, the
Yeah.
monthly cost. And then make a little list of each of the features that is available on that app. And you'll probably find some overlap. Like I know you mentioned you use HelloSign. There are other practice management apps that are offering e-signing. Even Box, which is for storing your documents, is now offering e-signing. So I was using HelloSign. I actually still have one account open with them because it is so convenient, even though another app that I have may offer that. Now, if you're aware of that and you're good with it, that's okay. Like, I'm not saying that you have to only use all of the features in one app because maybe another one does that too, right? Like
Mhm.
for DocketWise, I don't use their CRM feature that they've recently added because I'm happy with what I'm using already and I want to stick with that. And I'm okay with that. But, realize that the component is there, right? Realize that maybe there is a feature like maybe texting. Maybe you don't need a standalone texting app if
Yeah.
your practice management system, like I know my case offers texting, right? So again, the bottom line is know what you're paying for, see if there's overlap, see if there are maybe things you may want to eliminate. But if you're okay with it, then don't just get rid of things too quickly.
Yeah.
Calendly, I love Calendly, even though I have a scheduler component in another app. But I find that the features of Calendly for only $15 a month are worth it. So I've made that conscious decision, but it's not that I don't know that I could do it a different way.
I mean, someone had posted that if you're using, I think Square app has its own calendar system. I might have read it on
It
TF.
does. It does. And I've looked at it and it wasn't really ideal, but it does. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I put it
And
on silent, yeah, to look
yeah,
3 or 4 months ago. I never got to it, but good.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I actually use Square and I use LawPay. I have a LawPay account because it's convenient, and you can have a trust account, you can have the operating account. But Square is just so convenient for other things, like just a quick consultation charge, especially, back when people were coming to the office. I had the little reader thing, right? That I just, give someone and they stick their card in, and it's so convenient. And Square is also great for, by the way, for international charges, because sometimes LawPay will reject your client's invoice payment if they're doing it from another country and you haven't notified LawPay in advance that you're going to be expecting charges from this country. Yeah, I had that happen a lot. So, a client in Canada says to me, I couldn't do this. I'm trying to use my Canadian card and it didn't work. And I just send them a here, just do Square, works every time. So there's a reason for having sometimes two different apps that do the same thing, but just be aware of it.
Definitely, for credit card, I've like both Square and PayPal and stuff, because Calendly kind of hooked up with PayPal. I just kind of stuck with that. The rates are higher doing it that way, but the flexibility is really good to have.
Yeah, exactly. And the last one, number 7, is not automating your client status reports. And by automating that alone, you can save so much time, and you can save clients calling you incessantly for updates on their case, right? So our cases take forever, right? Like a marriage green card case can take 2 years now. So what we've done is we've set up automatic client status reports based on the stage of their case. Now, I happen to use monday.com to do this, but I know that there are other apps out there that can do this as well. It involves usually having some type of an email template that you pre-wrote in advance and having it triggered by a certain action. So for example, with me, when we get our client receipts in from a case we filed, we just click on a button saying, this stage is now moving to the receipt received stage. And the client gets a generic email just basically saying, hi, we've received the receipt for your case. You should have received one too. If you didn't, please let us know, blah, blah, blah. And then we have those types of emails for every stage of the case. And once it gets to USCIS pending, where, they've done their biometrics, receipts are in, everything, every month, there's an automatic email sent to the client, just reminding them that your case is still pending. Your case was filed on such and such a day. It just reassures them that there's nothing they have to do, that we're on top of things, right? If we get an RFE, we change the status to RFE status. And we say to them, hey, we got an RFE. It's due on, we need to talk with you, blah, blah, blah. So that alone has cut down people calling us. What's going on with my case? Everybody wants to know, right? And because I don't really care for client portals, I haven't really found a good one that I like. I don't necessarily want the client to have to log into a portal to see if anything changed. If something changes, I'm going to notify them right away. And I can do this easily with my automated status report. So it's a really big time saver.
I have the same feeling about the client portals, although I see more and more everyone's doing that and having a link on their website. But I like the direct communication with email or something like that much better.
Yeah, I'm not adverse to having a client log into something to say upload documents, because we actually use Pipefile, which is something that is easy to use. We just send the client a link. It's a secure way for them to upload their documents. And, you could kind of say maybe it's like a portal, but it's, I'm talking about a true portal where your client can log in the entire time of their case and see all their documents and their statuses. And I think it's a great idea. Maybe if I could find one that I really love. But some of them, are just, I don't know. It's just something about them that I haven't found one that I like. Truly.
I hear you. You have mentioned Pipefile, and I've seen you mention a lot on Facebook, and it's on my to-do list to figure out what's going on with that. What stops you? I mean, you have Box, I think you said. I have Dropbox. I send I share a folder and I ask clients to just upload it there. What's the difference between that and doing Pipefile? Is it for security or for other reasons?
It's not just for security. No, it's actually for a totally different reason. It allows you to reject and explain why you are rejecting a particular document. So you create a template in advance for a specific type of case. Let's say, again, a marriage green card case. You create the categories of like one category might be last 3 years of taxes. Another category might be marriage bona fides. And then I give an example of all the types of bona fides. So it's a lot more structured. It tells the client exactly what they need to upload, where they need to upload it, like in a certain spot on the link when they click on it. And when they upload documents that are not suitable, like maybe they uploaded their, I don't know, their, previous work permit card or whatever with their thumb on it, right? Or on a background that is not suitable, even though we tell them, please, no backgrounds, try to do a proper scan. You can actually click a little X on that document that they uploaded, and you can write an explanation. You can say, hey, you need to scan this properly, or hey, I can't read this, or hey, you need to send a PDF. And they'll get a message back saying why you rejected their document. So it prevents this constant back and forth of what they didn't send in properly, or maybe they completely submitted the wrong thing, right? This is not your 2019 tax return. This is your 2014 tax return. Please, submit whatever. It's really made life easier for us. And then when everything is finished, you approve things, documents, and then you say complete. The client gets an email saying everything is submitted, and you have a nice zip file from Pipefile that you can then put into Box or Dropbox or wherever you want, with all the documents categorized in order with subfolders. So it just makes life so much easier.